Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing. Authorities are struggling to contain a deadly California wildfire, which has just claimed at least 10 lives throughout Northern California. The flames, which are spreading over 8 counties in the state, have also decimated a local Jewish summer camp, though thankfully everyone was evacuated in time, along with the camp's Torah scrolls. California Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency in Napa, Sonoma, and Yuba counties, considered to be the heart of wine country in California. Though wildfires are unfortunately nothing new in this part of the country, vicious crosswinds have stoked the flames quicker than usual, causing nearly 1,000 homes to be immediately evacuated. The entire fire itself is believed to consist of 15 separate fires, which started roughly around the same time, which explains not only the scope of the damage, but also why the flames are so difficult to control. Unfortunately, the fires show no sign of slowing down yet, meaning even more lives will be at risk. The Palestinian Authority's dominant Fatah party is now entering talks with its rival Hamas in CAIRO, hoping to once and for all seal the deal for a Palestinian unity deal. At the top of the list are some of the most critical points of the deal, including security in Gaza and the fate of Hamas's armed military wing. Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen a possibility for reconciliation between the two rivals. Back in 2011, Egypt actually tried to broker peace talks by integrating 3,000 Fatah police officers into the Gaza police force. Talks fell through that time, but now the offer is back on the table as Hamas and Fatah officials begin the difficult task of finding common ground to solidify a partnership. But perhaps the biggest sticking point of all is the fate of Hamas's armed military, which consists of nearly 25,000 armed troops. Hamas has repeatedly pledged to maintain its army at any cost, though Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has been adamant that a united Palestinian people would be, quote, one authority, one law, one administration, and one weapon, end quote. For now, we'll just have to wait and see. 2 Palestinians from Gaza were apprehended while sneaking into Israel earlier this week. The suspects were caught just outside the Gaza border in southern Israel and were taken in for questioning. According to the IDF, the 2 men were not carrying any weapons, and without information on their identities, their motives for crossing was also not immediately clear. There are many reasons for their crossing, however. There are occasional reports of Palestinians crossing illegally into Israel from Gaza to find work, while Gaza itself is undergoing a humanitarian crisis. This arrest also comes after rocket sirens blared across southern Israel earlier that day due to rocket fire out of Gaza. The attempted attack was likely either Hamas or ISIS taking revenge on Hamas for arresting 4 ISIS sympathizers on Saturday. Israel responded to the rockets with targeted strikes on Hamas observation posts. The week of voting for the new head of UNESCO has begun, and there have already been a few surprises. After the first round of votes on Monday, the unlikely frontrunner Hamad bin Abdulaziz Al Khawari from Qatar has emerged ahead. Israeli ministers have already begun lamenting that result. But with the final result far from decided, all eyes in Israel are now on Egyptian diplomat Mushira Khattab, who came in 3rd place in Monday's vote and has managed to gain both the ire of human rights groups and the praise of the Jewish community in Egypt. The head of the Egyptian Jewish community, Magda Haroun, has now publicly voiced her support for Khattab, saying she has shown, quote, impressive and genuine commitment to our cause to protect Egypt's Jewish heritage, end quote. Khattab also has a long list of accomplishments in Egyptian women's rights and served as a top aide to Egyptian First Lady Suzanne Mubarak in the 1990s. Human rights groups in Egypt that oppose her claim she stood in silence, if not in complicity with alleged government repression and even attacks. The final result in UNESCO's vote will be known by Friday. Al Jazeera has just made a controversial announcement, confirming that it's planted an undercover reporter in American organizations that are pro-Israel. On top of that, the Arab media group intends to air a documentary filmed during the undercover work, similar to the controversial piece filmed last year in the UK, and that film made headlines all over the world when an official from the Israeli embassy in London was caught on camera discussing plans to, quote, take down certain lawmakers he perceived as being anti-Semitic. The official in question ultimately resigned from his post, but this new announcement of a second undercover documentary about American pro-Israel organizations isn't exactly a surprise. That's because Al Jazeera has been historically critical of the Israeli policies, as well as any American in cooperation with the Jewish state, actions that have recently placed it in the crosshairs of the Israeli government. A few months ago, Prime Minister Netanyahu accused the Qatar-based network of inciting violence against Jews at the Temple Mount during the height of the bloodiest clashes in years, and recently took steps towards shuttering Al Jazeera's Jerusalem offices for good. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.